You're the one with the last say. And I can see clearly now that my worst days are over now. Now you got my back, and you lead me to your peace. You're the best I've had, and all I ask is more of you. I know that there's more of what you do. Oh, in everything, all I see is you. The wonder of everything you say you do. My mind made up, never looking back, my eyes stay up. All I see now is you, you. In everything, all I see is you. The wonder of everything you say you do. My mind made up, never looking back, my eyes stay up. All I see now is you, you. In everything, all I see is you. The wonder of everything you say you do. My mind made up, never looking back, my eyes stay up. All I see now is you, you.
There's only so much you can say to words turn into noise. Here we go round and round again. But people, we were meant to blaze a life that's beautiful. Yeah, we got so much love to give. Don't look to the left or right. You know the future's worth the fight. Don't look to the left or right. Hey, yeah. L-O-V-E rolls off the tongue. But sometimes the word's just not enough. Gotta dig a little deeper. You gotta love with your life, like a fire burning strong, till the night is come and gone. There's a hope that lives in you. You gotta love with your life, like a warrior's fight, lay it on the line. If you wanna see it change, you gotta love with your
All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming. On behalf of Pastor Tabo and Pastor Corin, thank you for attending this health and safety induction. Just quickly, as you know, CRC is a dynamic, growing church. So obviously we're moving forward into areas that we personally have never been in, but eventually we'll be moving into areas that no other church has ever been in. Like, for instance, we're now taking over a new venue. We're moving from here across to Mile End. When I was in church first, we started in Genesis Cinema near Stepney Green, so it's full circle back to that place. Cool. So obviously as a church, we're facing more challenges than what the world faces. We're also a spirit-led church, so therefore not only meeting the requirements of the law, but also fulfilling the standards of the kingdom. So the purpose of why we're here is to have a common start point from where all our operations. So there's multiple ministries here. We all start from the same operation, how we do setup, how we do breakdown, and obviously we have different locations and events. So the purpose for here is we want you to know the things to look out for, things to be aware of, what is expected from you, and what you should receive from us. Okay, I've got a short clip just to highlight some stuff about health and safety. If media can play it, please.
Hey, thank God you're here. All right, mate. These two blokes are workplace safety inspectors. They say they want to have a chat. All right, guys, he's here. This is our foreman.
Morning.
How you going?
Just doing a routine inspection.
Yeah, I can see that.
What are you building here?
A building, mate.
Yeah, what type of building?
One to put stuff in.
Right. We've got a few concerns about your building site.
Oh, yeah,
Really?
we'll fire away. Boss, we've got nothing to hide, do we?
Nothing to hide here.
Nothing to hide.
Okay, well, let's start with the most obvious. Most building sites will have a sign out the front that says no entry, authorised persons only.
Yeah.
Your sign says construction site, safety is for sissies.
boys. I said this is for the Christmas party, guys. I'll just give that back to you then.
What do you think I'm noticing over here?
Well, that bloke not doing a lot of work. Paying him. Trev, get back to it, seriously.
There is no safety barrier? Now,
No.
What happens if I just step off the edge?
Mate, you're knackered if you do that.
And this gentleman here,
Yeah, Trev.
could you please point to one piece of protective clothing he's wearing?
Oh, God, look at this. What's that? Look at that. Because if it ever gets sunny indoors, he's ready to go. No UV.
He's not wearing a helmet. What if a girder was to fall on his head?
A few years ago, Trev had an operation on his brain and they removed his skull and they put in an iron one made of metal. So he's effectively got his own hard hat.
He's supposed to be wearing steel-cap boots.
Iron legs. A few years ago, Trev had an accident. Lost both his legs and they're made of iron ones for replacement.
Well, what do you call these?
Legs. That's why.
The boots on the bottom, mate, they're made of rubber. I mean, what's he going to do if a brick lands on it?
Yeah, but what happens if a beach lands on it? He's going to be prepared. You're always thinking about, you know, the obvious stuff. What about, like, you know, if he's around a pool?
Ready, welder. Can we have a word with him, please?
Yeah, no worries. Hey, Mick, can you come down here a minute, please? Hi, Mick.
OK, what do you think we're noticing about this gentleman?
He's a man-child.
He looks about 12 years old.
Yeah, I know. It's tragic.
What would a 12-year-old boy be doing on a building site?
Exactly. I wouldn't have one. Not in a fit.
Well, he looks 12.
He's 53. Have a can, mate. Knock off. You've done great today.
All right, I'm going to make this simple on you. Point to one thing that shows that you're taking workplace safety seriously.
Yeah, we've got a safety officer. Hey, Vinny! Yeah!
Your safety officer. He's doing stunts. What message does this send to your other workers?
That one day, if they work hard enough, they could be Vinny.
OK, I'm going to make this even more simple. Could you give us one reason why we shouldn't shut down this site right now?
Look at these blokes' faces. Do you want these guys back in jail?
Okay. Okay, so obviously we would like to be a little bit more proactive in our safety than that. Okay, cool. So a couple of things, I just want to get cracking with a couple of things to look out for. Right? If media can show the slide that has the list. Okay, so the first thing, obviously, we have different locations, right? So we've got 3 different campuses, but we also have events during the week, especially with our harvest coming up. We've got Harvest 18 in the copper box, I think. Okay, cool. And so each location has its own hazards that obviously go and risks. Hazards are things that can cause you harm, and risks that there's a chance of causing a hazard occurring. If you think of something is a hazard, please let your department head or one of the health and safety officers know. We're obviously most of the guys in the oranges. We do various activities when setting up equipment and serving our members and visitors. This could cause congestion in certain areas because obviously we only got 2 entrances and exits in this location. So obviously we have a flow. Bringing in equipment comes usually in through this door and then goes out that side. Each location has its own thing. So later on we'll mention about the briefings in the morning. I'll explain what that happens. Obviously, some of these activities that we will end up doing, especially like setting up lights up top, we have scaffolding that has to be erected. For that, you need specific certification with you, right? Like a PASMA ticket. Okay. Obviously, we have other things. There's laying out cables, coffee urns, etc. So we obviously need to watch out for that through tripping hazards, etc. Right? If you see it, do something about it. Health and safety is very much a responsibility of each and every single one of you. There's no way that I, myself, or my team can watch every area every second. So if you see something, please report it or sort it out. I mean, you guys are more than capable of doing that. You're part of the house. So, and then our greatest challenge, I just wanted to ask a question. Who of you have been in this church for longer than 6 months? So basically back to, okay. So our greatest challenge amongst most of us is apathy and familiarity. The same thing we do repeatedly, right? So every week we come here, we put the stage down, we put the band up. Next week, put the stage down, put the band up. then you start getting complacent. So our challenge is to make sure that we don't obviously damage the property, etc. Right? If you've been here for less than 6 months, you've got a fresh pair of eyes. So if you see something new, share it. Bring it up with your department head. Let's implement. We're going forward. We're taking new ground. We're developing. We're progressing. So nobody's here. Nobody's stupid. Just ask a question. Obviously, when you come to leadership, you always do it with humility and respect. But you share. You see what you noticed. And if we've discussed it and stuff like that during the week, then thank you. You're on the same page. Okay. We also want to keep pathways, especially to fire exit doors. Right? They always need to be clear at all times. With regards to fire, there's obviously 3 things that land up that can cause and maintain a fire. That's oxygen, heat, and fuel. Okay? The extinguishers, fire extinguishers, are not doorstops. It's actually against the law to use a fire extinguisher. We used to do that quite a lot in '02. You guys have stopped. Well done. Been paying attention to inductions. All right. The fire doors are designed to actually withstand fire and heat for up to an hour. So if the doors are closed at all times, if a fire actually had to occur here, it gives us an hour to evacuate. That's a really long amount of time for everybody to get out. Okay? And as long as our pathways are clear. Okay? This leads to our first aid. First aid is one of those, we've got certain volunteers that are certificated to be first aiders. Each venue for each time slot is allocated a first aider. So what we're going to be trying to do very shortly, we're going to implement, is a mobile number per location. So if you're serving here, you just need to know the mobile. You don't need to know who's on duty. You just phone that number if you need first aid attention. Okay? So that's still fire stuff. They'll catch up. Right? So the East has a specific phone number. Obviously, if you guys would land up like the ushers, you guys rotate. You might be in Docklands or Gloucester Road or Seven Oaks. They'll have a specific number there as well. Okay? So it doesn't matter when. We then assign first aiders, and they'll have the phone. But at the same time, I'd like to ask that if any one of you do actually have first aid certificates that's within date, at the end of this, we're going to do a test. Straight after that, it actually asks you if you are a first aider. Please tick it off so we can actually assign more first aiders, because right now we've got few on duty, and they're doing every Sunday. So we'd like to put a rotation in that you're only on duty one service every 2-3 weeks. Okay? And it will obviously always help us. With regards to first aid, obviously we have first aid kits that's got medication in it, drugs and alcohol, right? Obviously, no drugs are allowed on our premises. We have a zero tolerance towards that, right? Medication, it falls under the drugs category. So if you're taking a subscription, you're taking any medication, even if it's over the counter, it might cause you drowsiness. Then for your reaction time is not that quick. You'll end up coming through the door. You might hurt somebody just because your reactions are slightly slow. Again, the same thing if you end up working a late night, last night, you come into church or come to one of our events and you're slightly tired, please mention that. Give your department head a heads up so that it is aware of it. And then with regards to smoking, obviously, it's against the law to smoke within the premises. If you are serving, you represent CRC, so we ask, please don't smoke at all. Okay. Right. Noise levels. Obviously, as you can see, one of the things that we've started implementing quite a bit is noise. We have a hotel here, so we have cargo outside. So outside our auditorium, when we're doing cargo, please be mindful of people that actually stay here. Early in the morning, we don't want to wake them up. They complain to the whole hotel complain to us. It damages our relationship with them. So we need to be mindful of that every time. If we go to another venue, exactly the same protocols happen. Okay? Then inside the auditorium, obviously we have certain decibel levels. We don't want to hurt your hearing. So the sound engineer makes an announcement to let you guys know when it's going to be loud for a consistent amount of time. Okay? So you need to please be careful of that. If you've got any questions, ask. I'm nobody special. I'm just a volunteer that's been here for a long time. So please ask a question at any time if you want something to be made clear. Okay. The next topic is health and safety officers, the guys that stand around doing nothing, that will go fetch you a cup of coffee if you need it. Yeah, too many of you believe that. That's not really cool. Okay, right. The health and safety officers, most of them have been in church for a long period of time. They understand where you guys are coming from, but at the same time, our focus is to make sure that you guys implement health and safety. Your guys' focus is to get the task done properly, effectively, and on time. Our task is just to make sure that you guys keep covered. We do our walk-arounds before you come in. We walk around the venue, make sure that we document anything that could be a potential hazard. right? So when you guys come in, I'll get to the briefings. The briefings that you do in the morning stipulates anything that we might have noticed that happened during the week. Okay, this is not our property. Same with Gloucester Road, same with Seven Oaks. So something can happen. Seven Oaks, they started renovating. So from one Sunday, it was nice. The next Sunday, everything's changed. So in the briefings, that's what it mentions. So you can't do a briefing the night before or on a Friday or think that you've heard it a million times already. Okay, it's specific for that venue. It's specific for that time. So anything that comes up, we would have noticed in the morning, or one of the service coordinators dealing with the hotel would have informed us about something that we need to be aware of. We'll bring it up the meeting in the briefing just before you start serving. Okay? The briefing has to be done by a health and safety officer, not your department head or somebody from your member of team. And then you must please sign the briefing register. This is also useful that if something does happen fire-wise, when we evacuate for this venue, as you were told this morning, is straight across the road in the car park, in the park. That's where we assemble. We can do a roll call according to that briefing sheet, right? So if you guys haven't signed it, we don't know you're stuck here. But if you have signed it, please let your department head or your venue head know that you've left. Otherwise, guys come rushing back in here trying to find somebody that's not here. So it's very important that you sign it and then let your venue head know that you've actually left the premises. Okay. PPE, everybody's favorite topic. When it comes to hard hats, messing with ladies' hairs, I do apologize. Okay, so PPE stands for personal protective equipment, right? It is clothing to be worn specific to help prevent any injuries or hazards that might occur. It has to be fit correctly. I know some of the ladies are small and they're wearing large. It looks nice. Anyway, fits correctly, is a good condition, looked after properly, stored correctly. If needs replacing, please report it to your venue head or department head. Okay? That includes high vis. If you land up working on scaffolding, you need hard hats. Okay? Health and safety officers, we don't carry around extra PPE. Okay? Because your department head deals with the tasks that's at hand, they should have the correct PPE. If they have any questions, they're more than welcome to come and ask myself, Marius, or Henning. In actual fact, in that video clip, it was actually Marius doing the wheel burnouts. I told him to stop, but he enjoys it. Okay. Okay, cool. Any questions so far? You guys all happy with that? All right, so every department, you guys have enough high-vis to cover the venue, etc. Okay. So we're not trying to be difficult, trying to ask for high-vis, but it's a requirement. Okay. Right, so if something does happen, right, obviously we have a reporting structure. So the website is crclondon.com/health-safety. Right? If you go there, you'll find out this induction is online, our briefings that we do online. We have a short induction video that's about 20 minutes. That's available there. As soon as the media go to the next slide, they'll show the link. You guys can mark it up. Registering for any future inductions, have anybody else, etc. All that information is available on that link. Okay, crclondon.com/health-safety. When you sign your briefing register in the morning, it's on that link as well. Okay, so here's a video on how, when doing an incident report, how not to do it.
The best people to ask in any situation, the best storytellers by far are colored people. It's true, they've been telling stories for centuries. They know how to give emotion, you know, they've got that vibe. They give it to you like nobody else can. They're strong, they've got that, you know. It would have been so different if one of the guys were there and, you know, and he survived, and they'd be asking him the question, be like, I've got one of the survivors here, Mr. Abrams, thank you so much for joining us. Could you tell us exactly what happened in that plane? Be like, brother, you don't want to know, bro. No, we really would like to know, brother, you don't want to know. Well, we live now, and we would like to know what happened. Brother, please, you don't want to know. Okay, well, there you have it. Okay, brother, fine, then I must tell you. What happened. Let me tell you what happened here. Because we was flying in, and the plane was flying like this. The plane was flying, and the pilot was having all the deals. The pilot was having like a hard time to the pilot. The plane was sitting low, so like so. Then everybody there was having a good time. I was reading a book near the plane. Then the lady, she came with the thing, just to say, you want the peanuts? Someone give the peanuts. Then she gives some tips there. I said, you want the tips? I said, yeah, put the tips. She put the tips. Then she gave me the grape ties. I said, what you want the things? She said, grape ties. I didn't even pay no money, nothing, but free. Someone put the grape ties there. Someone the plane. It's most nice, but everyone's having most a good time. Then I don't even know. I think so the pilot hit a pothole or something. The plane so much shake like that. The plane start to shake. Start to shake. The plane you think no, it's going to be bad, but then it gets super bad. The plane someone go up, then it goes zoom like that. The plane go down, brother. That thing start to shake like The people was panicking. The babies is falling. People screaming like I was so scared. I was praying like, Jesus, please. Jesus, I don't want to die. The plane was shake like so. Someone go down. You see the ground was coming like that. The people was panicking. They're panicking. The lady, she comes. She someone take the peanut chips. She take the gas. You know, take my great dizer. Someone slip the gun through the cut there. Hold on. Someone fast made the seatbelt. The plane shake and it shake like so. Then the plane come down. They're going to crash. But the pilot is most another old that one. Yo, bruh. That always someone catch the thing. Start the handbrake down like the plane come there, slutting donuts, sonny. The thing come with smoke. The people get the door, they kick it there. We slide out like a Rambo movie. There's much fire, brother. People were panic, bruh, panic. I thought I was gonna die, bruh. Thought I was gonna die. It's like, wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. And you were in the plane. What were you thinking? Well, that's a plane. I was there by my house, brother.
Yeah, I'll sit down again. We'll play the next one. I'm joking. Okay, so I think half of you got that. Did everybody understand that? Okay, that's Cape Townian accent from South Africa. Okay, cool. Right, so two things about that. Obviously, the amount of information in that incident report is a little bit too much. Half the stuff we don't need to know. I don't know how a plane hit a pothole. So if somebody's reading that report later, that's going to be very difficult to understand. And secondly, obviously, I want to highlight the fact that you have in this, what I really love about this church, I mean, I grew up in church. I was raised through multiple churches, Methodist, Baptist, etc. But what I like about this church and what's helped me stick in this church is the fact that we don't have one culture. Right? We have a kingdom culture, but we have everybody from Africa, North Africa, South Africa, Eastern Europeans, even some foreigners like the UK and stuff like that. We have you guys here. And that's the thing. So when we end up dealing with each and every one of us, some of our humor is slightly different. Some stuff I find funny, some other South Africans don't even find it funny. You know, so when we end up pushing equipment through doors, when we're moving things around, up and down, carrying black frames, etc., make sure that the person that's helping you actually understands the communication that you're putting out. Right, we're going this way. No, we're going this way. You know, push means pull. I don't know, you know. So it's one of those things. So we come to human factors, crowd control, and communication. Communication is one of the biggest things out. Yeah. Make sure that you're clear in your communication. If you're the leader, the other person can follow, or whatever the case is. We're moving items. There should be a clearly defined path. So when you're carrying stuff, again, familiarity. We've been doing the same thing week in and week out. Right? This frame goes up the stairs through the double doors. You don't have to explain it every time. But make sure that the new person that's coming along actually does understand that. Okay? Volunteers know who they are. Do they? Okay, you must know where you're going, i.e. the route. Communication between volunteers to be clear when moving equipment. Watch out and keep well clear of members of public. Okay? This is a big thing. So anybody that's going to be serving and helping out in Gloucester Road, half the equipment ends up coming right across where the hotel staff is. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but Gloucester Road is not exactly a low market place. Right? So you've got really expensive cars, people that operate on a different level to most of us, etc. So when you're doing that, clearly worn high vis, make sure that people can see you. They know that you're serving, that they know you're there for the purpose, but at the same time, they can stay well clear and you don't cause any hassles. If an incident does occur, if you do damage any of the property, please let us, one of us, know so we can let the hotel or the venue know. It's better for us to inform them about it and that we will do something about it. They're happy. But if they find out about it during the week and then come back to us, it damages the relationship. Okay? So please, yes, you might have made a mistake. We all do. I have done this. But at the same time, rather take the courage and make sure that people know about it and then we resolve it. Then we keep the relationship clear, even for when we're moving into bigger places. Okay? I don't know if you guys have actually thought about it, but our target is 1 million people. Wembley Stadium hosts 100,000 people. Now, if we have 4 services in Wembley, now I don't know if you guys have been to Wembley, 4 services there, at 100,000, that's only 400,000 people. And we want 1 million. Okay? So even the O2 is too small for us. Okay? So we need to start thinking big. We need to start thinking on that level, and we start from here and we move. Don't despise the start of small beginnings. Okay? So we appreciate this, and then we're moving up that way. Okay? So just imagine you guys now dealing with 3 people that don't understand you. Imagine having a team of teams that don't understand you. Okay, so we all try and speak English. Larea loves my exclamation marks. Exactly. Okay, cool. All right, so crowds that attend at every event, different times, can be situated. I swear that's Peter's ringtone. That's not. Okay. Along with moving items, they might or might not be part of our event. Crowds of people from different backgrounds. Okay. Crowds that attend any event arrive at different times, can be situated in more than one location, and then leave at the same time. Okay, so we come in drips or drabs through this door, and then we all decide to pack up and move out. Obviously, try and do it in an orderly and controlled manner. Bulky equipment such as fly cases or speakers must be pushed by 2 people minimum. Okay, 1 in the front to control, 1 at the back to push. Okay, we're not questioning your strength. Donald, you're big and strong. We're not questioning that. We're questioning the control, right? If something happens, need to sway, you don't have, has anybody pushed those LED fly cases, these things? I can push one, but I have no control over it. Okay, so 1 in the front, 1 at the back. Okay, it's not about a question of strength. We're not trying to damage anybody's ego. Okay. Right, so for you specifically, right, along with a briefing from your health and safety officer, please get a work briefing from your department head or venue head. Okay, so to make sure that you know what's required of you, then please keep your department head or venue head as to your location. We do not need to know how many times you go to the bathroom. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about if you've left the premises or not. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. I've done enough talking. I've got a video now about manual handling. Okay, it's not a joke one. This is actual video.
Hello and welcome to this Crusaders Manual Handling for Events instructional video. In this video, we will be looking at how to perform manual tasks safely and effectively. What is manual handling? Manual handling is the biggest cause of physical injury in the workplace. This instructional video is intended to avoid these injuries. So what do we class as manual handling? Lifting, carrying, putting down, pushing, pulling, moving, and supporting are all forms of manual handling. The most effective way to reduce injuries is to eliminate the cause. So what we need to ask ourselves is, can the job be done where it is? Can we use a trolley or pump truck to aid us? Or can we use a mechanized method such as a forklift? If manual handling is necessary, then you must always consider the following. Light. Load. Is it heavy or bulky? Has it got any sharp edges? Is it unwieldy or unstable? Individual. You must consider the capability of the handler. How strong are they? How agile are they? Are they trained? Task. What method of carry is being used? How far is it being carried? And will a brake be needed? Is it going to involve awkward postures or twisting? Environment. Is the route of travel clear of obstruction? Are there variations in level, such as slopes or steps? Are there likely to be any strong gusts of wind? Is it hot or cold? Is there sufficient lighting? And importantly, is the general public being affected by your work? If so, control measures can be used to protect the public if they are in the vicinity, such as a banksman, wearing high-vis vests, or ceasing work until they have left the area. Think before you lift. Remember to stretch and warm up before you start. So bearing these points in mind, it is important to plan the lift. Check the weight. Can handling aids be used? Will help be needed? Is the route clear? For a high lift, such as from floor to a high shelf, consider resting midway on a table or bench to change grip. For a long-distance carry, consider resting the load midway on a table or bench to catch your breath and take a rest. You will need gloves if it is hot, cold, or there are any sharp edges or slippery surfaces. Remember, don't be afraid to ask for help. If you judge the load to be beyond your physical capability, then find someone to help you. Never carry anything too heavy for you. For good lifting techniques, at the start of the lift, lower yourself down to the load using your knees and hips. A slight bending of the back, hips and knees is preferable to fully flexing the back, stooping, or fully flexing the hips and knees, squatting. Begin by getting a firm grip on the load and test the weight so you have an accurate idea of how heavy it is. Thinking a load is heavier than it is can injure you as much as thinking it is lighter. Keep the load close. It is essential to keep the load as close to your body as possible to lessen the strain on your back. Maintain your posture. You must avoid twisting or leaning sideways. Our bodies are designed to do this, but injury is likely when any weight is involved. Moving the load. When moving the load, move smoothly. Move with the load at a walking pace. If you are pushing something, then avoid going above walking speed. Rest. Adjust hold. The load may shift during the move, or your hold may become loose, in which case you must put the load down and adjust your grip. Loading and offloading vehicles. Loading and offloading vehicles is an everyday part of events production. Here are a few ways you can make the process safer. Ideally, the driver of the vehicle will open and close the doors, as they will know how the vehicle has been loaded and whether to avoid any equipment that has come loose during transit. If the driver is unavailable, always open the doors with due care and attention. Ensure the doors of a vehicle have been opened and secured before you approach it, especially in windy conditions. Never use a hydraulic tail lift unless you have been properly trained. Always make sure your hands and feet are clear of the tail lift when it is moving. Stay well clear of the gap between the lift and the vehicle. Never assist in strapping the items in the load to a vehicle unless you have been instructed how and the driver is happy for you to do so. Never load equipment without the driver's permission or knowledge. If using a ramp when loading or offloading a vehicle, ensure the ramp is long enough to give the shallowest gradient possible. Take care when heavy items are being wheeled or unloaded down the ramp. Make sure there are enough crew to move the items in the load. Handling flight cases. Remember, they come in all shapes and sizes. Sometimes the cases can be top-heavy, so check the case. Smaller flight cases can be transported when stacked on top of larger cases, as long as they are not too heavy when wheeling them along. Don't do this when using a vehicle ramp. When handling flight cases, there are several holds that can be used. Always ensure all clasps and locks are fastened before you lift. Four-man carry. The four-man carry is done with 4 men taking one corner each. It can be used in most circumstances and is the safest and easiest method in most instances. Three-man carry. This lift is often used when lifting the flight cases onto raised platforms such as trucks, or when pushing up ramps. The 2 front men can lift the case to the desired height, while the rear man assists them and then pushes the load onto the platform. Two-man carry. The two-man carry is mainly suited for narrow corridors and only if the weight is within your physical ability. But remember, you must always use a 4-man carry whenever possible. Two-man opposite carry. This 2-man carry can be used to negotiate narrow walkways, obstacles and stairs. You must ensure that the load is well balanced when performing this lift. Modular staging. There are several ways to carry the modular staging. The 2 most common are the rear-assisted lift method and the tabling method. Both methods have their own merits, and both require good communication between the two carriers. The rear-assisted lift is favoured for confined spaces such as corridors and staircases, and makes transporting staging over distances more efficient. The tabling carry is the easiest method, as it uses the least amount of movements. It is used where there are no restrictions of space or obstacles in the work area. But this method should not be used over long distances. Handling flats and set. There are a number of things to bear in mind when moving flats and set. Never overload yourself. The flats may be light, but they are cumbersome, which may cause difficulties when manoeuvring. Be particularly careful in windy conditions, especially when loading and unloading, as the wind may catch the flat. For a long set, there should always be 2 people for the lift. This ensures safety in windy conditions and tight spaces. Using this method will improve the visibility of where you are going. When storing flats, stack horizontally. This will ensure that they don't fall over. Always make a visual check of the flats to observe any protruding nails, screws, staples, splinters, and/or sharp edges when handling them. Safety gloves should be used. Remember, don't be afraid to ask for help when wheeling or loading items up and down the ramp or placing them on the tail lift. If you have any questions or are not sure how to handle a particular item of equipment, you should approach a senior crewman or technician who is experienced at manual handling.
Okay. Right. So flats and set is obviously with the stage. So a lot of you guys are helping the stage guys carry it downstairs. So there might be 1 or 2 screws that are obviously protruding, so you need to be careful. So even though you're not part of the stage ministry, you're helping out, please be aware. When we did the event in the O2 for Harvest, we were moving things up and down from a massive lorry. So it wasn't our equipment, but we were giving other people a hand. Okay? So you are not, most of it might not pertain to your specific ministry, but at the same time, at any point in time, you will be helping us, etc. Okay, John, you good? Okay, cool. Right, so asset protection is obviously one of the main things that we have in our different venues because it's not ours. So always protect the assets. Again, like I say, if you do make a mistake, please let us know. It's easier for us to deal with it. And so leave the place in a better state than when you found it. If you notice or have caused any damage to the premises, inform your department head. We walk with integrity. We have a relationship to protect. Okay. Now, just for your information, obviously we've got a whole lot of pictures coming up now about various things that we need to try and obviously make sure that we protect. One of the big things that we used to obviously focus on was the screen from the O2. Again, you put a little mark on it. It costs £30,000 to replace it. Now, again, it's not about the money. I always use the example of jam. Was it £5 per kid for a month or something? So that £30,000 instead of replacing a screen can go to 6,000 children that we can feed. So it's about the money that Apostle Toba always says. It's about the money that we can use for the kingdom forwarding the kingdom on earth, right? It's always about that. So that's why we need to take care of the various premises that we tend to. Okay, fire doors. Obviously, please do not use fly cases when pushing through fire doors. They're not a battering ram, right? They damage the equipment inside the fly case, and you damage the fire doors so they can't do their job properly. Okay, there's one of the columns in the O2. That was one of the corridors at Wembley. Okay, so we're obviously using a lift here. So please make sure that when you're pushing things inside and out of the lift, make sure it's protected and you don't damage the lift itself. Okay. Any questions? Guess it's late. No. Okay, cool. So critical things to look out for, any projection screens. Obviously, we have this one here we disable to make sure that it doesn't come down on anybody. Lifts in and out, door frames, walls, our equipment, our vehicles, and storage units. Obviously, our venues have storage units for our equipment. Okay, so final one is your responsibility. What's expected of you? Okay, to always consider the well-being of yourself and others around you, to wear the correct PPE for the job you have been assigned to, Make sure the PPE is in good condition, right? If a volunteer is in a probation period and has been assigned to you, we had, a few months ago, we had somebody that was a visitor come and help pack away. That, I'm sorry, but we can't allow that from a health and safety perspective. Here they can hang around, they can follow you, wear the high-vis, make sure they all follow the right procedures. But if they injure their back and they're only a visitor, they're most likely going to do something about it. Okay, they haven't received this induction. That's the purpose of the induction, is not to try and waste your Sunday. Okay, it's to make sure that you're aware of how to carry things, picking up things, what to look out for, etc. Okay, they haven't been, they're a visitor, they don't come back next Sunday, but then we held responsible for that. Okay, so please, a volunteer in a probation period is actually somebody that shouldn't actually be doing anything but just following you. Okay, right? Adhere to the instructions of your department head. Report any and all incidents. It's actually a legal requirement for us, if anybody does injure themselves, to actually report it. At the same time, please, if you do have an injury that's outside of church, to please tell your department head. If you've injured your back at gym, then you come and carry stuff here. That's not wise. Okay, so tell your department head, look here, I've got a sore back, or whatever the case is, cool. We'll have you, sweeping, I don't know. Okay, and then receive a briefing before you commence any work at a CRC event, including Sundays. I think that's it. Okay, cool. Any questions? You guys want to make sure of anything? Please ask now. The lights are way too bright. Okay, so the next slide, media, please. Media. Okay, so yeah, confirm the time you will receive the briefing and not arrive late. Okay, so most of our briefings now is 10 to 7. So please, 10 to 7, don't arrive late. Make sure you sign the register, and then we're moving equipment, props and various items from one location to another, to always be aware of CRC and non-CRC members. Okay, cool. The next one is a question slide, and then I'll show you the link for your test. Has everybody got a device that they can do it online, a Google form, right? The Wi-Fi you can connect here, Hilton Honors. There's a free Wi-Fi, you can connect to that if you don't have data. Yeah, that's a summary. Okay. Media, if you can go to I think it's the last slide. There we go. And guys, this is a test. Please, no talking. If you have any questions, please come and ask myself, Peter, Karen. We're allowed to actually assist you guys. But no talking, please, because like I say. Yeah? Okay. So that's the link, crcministries.org/HS test. All right. It's only 10 multiple choice questions. Once you're done, you're more than welcome to leave and talk outside, please. Yeah? Everybody connecting?
Hello family, Pastor Tabu here. Hope you guys are having a great day. It's giving time and I just need to talk a little bit about giving. I want to talk to you from the topic wisdom and money. In the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 11 and 12 in the New Living Translation, it says the following. Wisdom is even better when you have money. Both are Hello family, Pastor Tabu here. Hope you guys are having a great day. It's giving time and I just need to talk a little bit about giving. I want to talk to you from the topic wisdom and money. In the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 11 and 12 in the New Living Translation, it says the following. Wisdom is even better when you have money. Both are a benefit as you go through life. Wisdom and money can get you almost anything, but only wisdom can save your life. Wow, this is powerful. I want you to know that Jesus wants your life to have an abundance of wisdom and money. Jesus wants us to have an abundance of wisdom. Individually, God wants you to be a man and a woman of wisdom. But God also wants you to have abundance of money. Both are a benefit to your life. It's so important to understand. The Bible says wisdom and money can get you almost anything in life. And don't you agree? It will be amazing to know that you are a man of wisdom and that you have more than enough, all your financial needs are met. Makes me think about King Solomon that asked not for money, but for wisdom. And it is so important to understand that the first thing that you need to go for is not money, but wisdom. We need to go for wisdom, not for money. And unfortunately, many of us are going for money instead of going for wisdom. Wisdom, the Bible says, is the principal thing. Wisdom is the thing that we need to go for. Money will follow wisdom. And I want to encourage you today. I want to let you know that wisdom can save your life, but money can't save your life. Money can get you a lot of things, but it can't save your life. So what is wisdom then? I need to work another shift on a Sunday to pay my bills. No, that's not wisdom. Wisdom says, serve the Lord. Wisdom says, go to church. Wisdom says, it's the Lord's day. And when you put your faith in the Word of God, the principles of God, what God says through His Word, then wisdom comes to you. And remember, family, money will follow wisdom. So I want to encourage you to go for wisdom, and I want you to know that money is beneficial for our lives. So as you are giving today, give with thankfulness. Know that giving is a wisdom thing. You are a smart man and woman to give unto the Lord what is His. May God bless you today as you give. We love you. We honor you. Bye-bye.
Due to security reasons, we ask that everyone remain seated in the auditorium during the announcements. We apologise for any inconvenience this may cause.
Hi guys, welcome to Christian Revival Church. On behalf of our senior pastors, Pastor Tabu and Pastor Karen, we trust that today's word has stirred up something new in you today. We have some news to share with you. Let's check it out.
What is a weapon of mass destruction? Guilt, condemnation, defense, lying voices, the feeling of not being accepted, fear, doubt. Don't play with these 7 things. They are not to make you better. You should never fear, because He has empowered you to overcome and neutralize any of these 7 things, because you are a child of God.
You can catch up with Pastor Tabu's latest sermons on crclondon.com. Also, you can live link with our Sunday services at stream.crclondon.com from anywhere in the world. All you need to do is visit the CRC London website and click on the Watch Now button.
Family, CRC is going bigger as we move our East Campus into this magnificent
recently renovated auditorium. The East Campus is moving to the Great Hall in the People's Palace, Queen Mary's University in Mile End. God has truly opened a door to a greater venue and a strategic location in the east of the city with a capacity of 900 seats. We cannot wait to call this building our home for the East Congregation. It is truly a miracle for our church to be in this historic Great Hall, brought about by much prayer and fasting and trusting God with this venue. We can see this place filled as of the 2nd of September with hundreds of people. With so much more space and facilities, we will see thousands of people come to Jesus and become part of the CRC vision. We also have large rooms and facilities for our growing CRC Kids Church, mums and babies, junior youth groups, and a breakout area in the foyer. Situated on the Queen Mary's University campus grounds on the A11 Mile End Road, the venue is a short 6-minute walk from Mile End Station for District, Hammersmith and City and Central Line trains, and Stepney Green Station for District and Hammersmith and City Line, with local bus connections on the 25 and 205 bus routes. Free parking spaces are also available on a first-come, first-served basis. Family, this is a great breakthrough for our church, and we cannot wait to see what God can do in this place. We want to thank each and every member for partnering with us, and we are expectant for revival. We are excited and expectant for Harvest 18 with our visionary pastor, Pastor At Boshoff, on the 21st of October. To launch our harvest campaigns and the 70-day countdown, we will be having vision parties across each of our 3 campuses on Sunday the 12th of August after the 11 a.m. service. Get ready for a lot of fun and surprises as we share the vision for revival at Harvest 18.
What is the power of God's word? L-O-V-E. Love God and love your neighbor as yourself. In the name of Jesus, you will do great exploits for God. Let the fire burn!
The gospel of God has the power to change everyone. So believe that you are called, chosen, and charged to change people's lives. If you'd like more information about our church, check out our website or follow us on our social media pages. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon.
Rise up in amazing grace. Let's go down, down, down to the river. Let's go down, down, down to the river. Sing, oh, down.
1, 2, 1, 2. There we go. I don't know. Where's my mic? Oh, here we go. 1, 2. Okay. So mic B will be Jamal. Mic C will still be. Yeah, the rest will be the same. Is that right? 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. There's your mic, yeah? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Oh, listen here. So, in sound check there was no interference. Now there's like interference galore on our in-ears. I couldn't hear anything during the praise and worship. Actually, I forgot to say. So there's a massive interference. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Shh, 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 shh. That's what it sounds like. London Brokes. Yeah, it's full. You're right. One, two, three. One, two, 1, 2.
One, 2.
Yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2. Come, yeah. No, stand where you. It's fine. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. No. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. But that's not even bad. That's now only when I speak. There's usually in between as well. No. Dora, stay there, please. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yes, you can have that one. Oh, it's mine.
What's the fact I use in the morning then? I wouldn't have to change anything.
Whichever one you have, 3.
Can I have that 3?
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Dan, just check all the packs, and then if everything seems fine, let's just carry on. Roseanne, she's been here once before, so has he, once before. It's like, any first time visitors in Scott behind Pastor Eddie. 1, 2. 1, 2. Do you know Dennis Rodman? Dennis Rodman. He's a basketball player. One, two. Okay, cool. Okay, alrighty. We're gonna start run through a sound check. One, two, three, four. Don't do it. Don't start something. Him and Stein. Both of them, yeah. All right, so I'm ready. We're ready.
You alright, Daniel?
One.
You alright, Daniel? You still doing it?
Are you in that group? Main sound mixing. It's on there. All right. Okay. Thank you. Can we do? What are we doing for sound check? Through the whole chorus? Can we? Is it too difficult? Okay, that's fine. Just drums for now? Just drums?
There's fire burning right through me. I can't get enough, I can't get enough of you. Completely consumes me. I can't get enough, I can't get enough of you.
Thank you. Can we do the tracks, please? Glow through it all. Real love. I thought it's a bit naughty of you to drink Coke. All right, so whenever you're ready with those tracks, Glow Through It All, Real Love. Next one.
It's the way you move and everything you do. The way you touch my heart again. I'm in love with you. This is why I praise you. I praise you. I lift you high. I praise you. I praise you. Through it all, I will keep on singing to you. Through it all. Makes my heart come alive. Suddenly brought to life when I met you. Reaching me on the space, running deep, stretching wide. Feel the curve of your waist, here with you. This love is for real, you will never let go, never let go. Oh, it's more than just moves, look beyond control.
Thank you. All right. Okay, all right, let's go from the top. We set our hearts on fire, we're all burning flames. This fire for you never fade. We will burn.
for you will never fade away. We will go. We lift our voices higher, and as one proclaim, our joy for you will never fade away. We will go. We will go. So light us up and we'll shine your light. So light us up and we'll shine your light. So light us up and we'll shine your light. We will grow.
Waarom gee we 'n kick van die meis?
In your light we will shine on. In your light we're gonna shine on. In your light we're gonna dance all night. In your light we will shine on. In your light we're gonna shine on. In your light we're gonna dance all night. So light